What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Collider Interview Studio at TIFF 2024 at the Cinema Center, brought to you by Range Rover Sport. I am so excited to be kicking off my Toronto International Film Festival this year with Sharp Corner. Huge congratulations to everyone on the film.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
I have seen your film. I quite like your film. Because we're at a festival right now, a lot of folks out there will not know what the movie is about just yet. So, Jason, I'm going to give these duties to you. Would you mind telling our audience what Sharp Corner is about?
Sure. Yeah, Sharp Corner is about a family man, played by Ben Foster, who becomes obsessed with saving the lives of the Sharp Corner victims at the Sharp Corner in front of his and his wife Rachel's house.
I have a couple questions for you about going from first to second feature, because it's been a good while since Blackbird. So I was wondering what has been going on between that film and this film. What kind of hurdles did you have to overcome in order to make this one happen?
Well, started this one actually 12 years ago, and then I had put it aside, was looking for the right production partner. I put it aside. I was working on a miniseries for about 3 or 4 years. That didn't happen. So I focused my energies back onto Sharp Corner in 2018, working with Paul Barkin at Elsina. And it took about 6 years from that point to bring it here today. 5 years to bring it to camera.
Ooh, I have a couple follow-up questions. Because you first started working on it so long ago, I'm curious, what is the biggest difference between how you pictured the film turning out back then compared to the finished film everyone will see now?
It's a little bit different tonally. I think a lot of that has to do with who you work with, the contributions, the collaboration, not just with the actors, but with everybody. I think what I like to do is find what I think are the best people for the work and invite their collaboration, try to get the best of what they can offer. But, and the movie always turns out different than the movie that you imagine in your head. I'm excited about this version that we've made.
I have one more question that I wanted to ask you about getting the green light on this, because that's one of the most difficult parts of the process. Was there any particular, like person you met, resource you acquired, something that happened that made you stop and go, like, now is the time, Sharp Corner is going to go into production?
Well, for Canadian film, the anchor is Telefilm Canada. So that was really our focus. And once that was in place, I wouldn't say this film was ever technically greenlit. It was just having the audacity to push forward and decide that we're going to make this movie and address those hurdles in process as we were heading into pre-production and even into production. So very difficult challenge to get it made, to get the financing together for the film.
Oh, I'm going to come back to some of those challenges, but first, I'll call this make Jason blush time. I have a 2-part question about working with him. For both of you, do you remember the first thing you saw in him that made you say, I am in good hands with him as a director? But then I also want an example of a time when he exceeded your expectations on set.
Well, I feel like the first time I met Jason, I found him to be very calm and very open. He was just talking about collaboration, and I think that was really my first experience with him, was meeting him and just saying, what do you think? What are your ideas? And so that was lovely. Exceeding expectations, I mean, we had a very quick shoot. We had a lot to do, and he just handled everything with such grace, and we all had an amazing time, and just like the completion of this movie and the final product is just really exciting.
I've only known you for 5 minutes, but I'm already feeling the calm and appreciating it ahead of all these interviews I have to do.
Yes.
Ben, how about for you? The first thing you saw in him that made you think I'm in good hands, but also an example of a time when he exceeded those expectations?
When we met after reading the script, and the conversation rolled into very what you call dangerous territory in terms of identity, the societal markers of what success looks like, and he was so interested in kicking those tires without making a point. And to me, there's nothing more exciting than to go in locked arms and ask questions together.
Oh, I'm going to come back to digging into that character in a second. But first, I love hearing actors give each other flowers. So for each of you, can you tell me something about the other as a scene partner that you appreciated and maybe helped you reach a layer in your own character that you wouldn't have been able to without them?
It's getting intimate.
It is. I'm a little uncomfortable. Cobie doesn't make eye contact.
Yeah, that is a thing.
She wouldn't look at me.
I mean,
she
I'm
wouldn't talk
shocked
to
that
me.
we have already done it today because usually I just don't do it with humans at all.
She looks at my forehead, not at my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that I find that creates, its own level of weird intimacy. Just as trying to be as uncomfortable on set as possible. That was my goal. Ben is wonderful and a dream to work with. And even though his character was hard to understand at times.
Just being a person.
A version of a person that was challenging. Ben in life was nothing but a dream.
Oh, honey.
Hey, that's the truth. That's the truth.
You
They
ready?
wanted the truth. I gave it to them.
You ready?
Yeah. Okay.
No eye contact.
She was worst.
It's a joy. It's a joy when you get to work with somebody who is a jack of all trades. When I think about Cobie and talk about her, it's someone who feels to be born in the wrong generation. She can do it all. Drama, comedy, a great mover, improviser, keeps it bright. It's ridiculous and it means the world. And I just know you're safe going into to go again ask tough questions together. Just the highest of talents and a pleasure to be with.
I'll follow up on that super briefly because I'm a big fan of your work. I want to see you do everything. You just said you can do everything. Is there any particular acting itch that you've yet to scratch but are eager to on a future project?
I'd love to just do more theater, but yeah, you have to live in New York with your whole family if you do that. So just really theater, not musicals. That's the one. Not singing.
I've been telling everyone you sing.
Like, oh, okay, well, we'll see. Yeah, theater. I mean, it's always, I love doing projects that you get to work with amazing people. And I feel doing an ensemble always, I think, makes you a better person and you learn so much. So
Some regional theater. Sign me up
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
for sure,
I mean,
for
now I
sure.
kind of want to put the pressure on and see you in a musical. But
oh, no, you don't.
as someone who
Trust me.
doesn't sing and
Trust me.
dance herself, I would never do
You
that to somebody else.
absolutely do not. Trust me.
Digging into the specific story details now, Jason, there was something that I was reading in our press notes that caught my eye. It said that your exploration into the short story had a very unique point of view on the hero complex. So what was that unique POV? What did you think you could bring to this adaptation that maybe no other writer-director out there could have?
Well, I expanded on the short story because the short story focused on one man's obsession with these car accidents that were happening, but he wasn't proactive about it. So I expanded on the short story and created a 3-act, or in this case, a 5-act structure that I wanted to explore a man who's perhaps lost his sense of purpose in life. And here is an opportunity that's presented to him on his front door, and how does he handle it? I was also interested in exploring obsession and how that can create blinders and create a type of narcissism where you no longer can be fully present for your family members. So those were some of the things I was looking at exploring, but I don't know if I answered your question.
No, it's very powerfully done too, because it's obviously a very extreme situation, but there's definitely certain universal qualities in what he's going through that I think anybody can relate to depending on the stage of your life or what you find purpose in, whether that's healthy or not. So I feel like job very well done in that respect. To build on it a little bit, Ben, I have a question for you. It's also a quote from the press notes that caught my eye that I really liked. Someone had mentioned you're not an actor who emotionalizes your roles or intellectualizes them. You mine them. You dig uncommonly deep for purpose. It was making me wonder, what is the deepest you've ever dug for a character, and how does this particular one compare?
I don't like to compare. I've had the great opportunity to ask questions, and I suppose like a journalist might go into a world with a question, and you follow that to the next one, and that is, to echo off Jason, is my obsession. It's not having the answer. It's not having the film perfectly formed in my mind. It's about a resonance and finding that feeling. For Josh, to me is we all know Josh. Josh is down the office in the cubicle. He's at Target. He's at Costco. He's at church. He's living his life, almost sleepwalking through it. And an event occurs, and it's as though this person wakes up for the first time. And rather than become introspective, he becomes obsessed in a way and proactive in a way that starts running a line that could be considered noble or obsessive and detached in different ways. And that curiosity of the everyman. And we all know that buzzing feeling of moments of apathy, of disconnect, feeling purposeless, rudderless. And you can look around and you say, okay, well, I have food on my plate. I have a roof over my head. Why do I feel so alone? I'd say just tangentially, there's a Talking Heads song that Jason and I talked about quite a bit, Once in a Lifetime, which is, how did I get here? You got this beautiful house, beautiful wife, watching the days go by, and something breaks and accelerates.
Speaking of something breaking, this fascinates me with a lot of films. I find it to be particularly strong with yours. When we first meet your characters, we meet them kind of at a breaking point when they move into this house where this terrible thing can happen. What kind of conversations do you two need to have before filming to kind of establish what their baseline was before? You know, why they fell in love with each other, the foundation, so that we care about when it crumbles.
Well, I remember shooting those earlier scenes and going like, this is the happiest we get to be. This is the nicest, kind of calmest. And I think it was establishing that this was a positive family unit. So we had somewhere to go. So we pushed for that, but that tire came pretty quick. We only got a couple scenes in. But it was important to sort of establish that, and that this event sort of blew up the family unit.
This is a terrible question to ask, and I will fully admit it, but I've been thinking about it a lot since watching your movie. Had they not moved into that house where that corner existed, do you think there was a possibility that these two and their family could live happily ever after, or was something like this always inevitable for them?
I feel like something, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think I'm just going into, Rachel playing a therapist, and I think always pushing for Josh to self-examine, and I don't know how far she would actually get with that. I think there's something that happens in relationships, like, suddenly your kid is like 8 and you're looking at each other going like, we got through it. Now, do we still like each other? Do we still want to be together as human beings and not just as parents? And so I think that would be interesting for them to examine.
How do you feel, Ben?
I tend to agree.
I feel like you've lived with the characters way more than I have, but when someone has that kind of hole that they need to fill with an obsession, if not that obsession, it would have been another one, and maybe different set of circumstances, but I think same path. I have to wrap with you. whenever we do these interviews, we always ask Team Collider about other projects that we should ask about. And everybody said the same thing for you, Ben. Everybody wants to know about working with Alan Ritchson, who is like one of like the biggest names out there. People just love his work. And I know you two just worked together on Motor City. So can you tell me something about, you know, what it was like working with him that maybe speaks to why he is striking such a significant chord with so many people out there right now?
He's very tall and very muscular, and he's very handsome. He's terrific as a mover. I think he wants to do some deeper work or rather different kinds of work than he's been doing, and that's a joy. It's also with Shailene Woodley, who's just absolutely a terrific actor. And the film itself, Motor City, we just wrapped, is virtually a silent film. There are 5 lines of dialogue. So Jack White is helping with the music. So it's like a rock disco revenge film with, it's like a graphic novel. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
That answer left me with so many follow-up questions that I'm not allowed to ask because I have to let you all go to continue celebrating Sharp Corner at TIFF. Seriously, huge, huge, huge congratulations. It's been weighing on my mind ever since I saw it, and I think that's the point. So job very well done. Enjoy your time at the festival.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us.